We have video of Berkeley police officers confronting an alleged child predator, and the people who caught the person are there with the evidence, yet police are caught on camera letting that alleged child predator go. Why was that? I'm about to have the leader of the predator poachers on, this guy who helps catch the bad guys. He's going to join me live in a sec. But also, guys, I confronted police about this. I recorded my conversation with Berkeley police, so you're going to hear Berkeley police's take on why they let the alleged child predator go. Checking your comments. So good to have you on. Okay, before we jump into it, shout out to the sponsor of my coverage. A heroic dog rescued the life of his own master after the man became gravely injured while hiking. The man plunged 70 feet near Lake Tahoe National Forest. His dog ran through the forest until he found two search team members. The dog then led searchers through the mountain straight back to his owner. It's something out of a movie. As lucky as the man and dog are to be alive and safe now, situations like this can be avoided with the right gadgets. That's why I have turned to the backup solar bank. No survival gadget on Earth does what the backup solar bank can do. It's a massive portable battery that's powered entirely with solar energy. Store unlimited power in your pocket with the backup solar bank. I actually put this on the windowsill on a cloudy day and it just started charging right up. It's amazing. So every viewer of my podcast is eligible to get 15% off of their own backup solar bank, but only for limited time. Backupsolarbank.com, link in my description. All right, with that being said, let's bring on Alex Rosen, leader of Predator Poachers. You've got your YouTube channel there. YouTube is currently called Puggy Pug. I've linked it down in my description.
Thank you. How's it going? How's it going? Great to be here.
It is good to have you on my independent show finally. I tried to cover you at Fox. They didn't want to cover the work that you do. You've been catching bad guys all over America, and YouTube keeps deleting your channels.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've definitely run into some roadblocks. And big shout out to you. You were the first person in media to actually give us good, fair coverage. And that was like 3 years ago at this point. And it's happened way more times since that, like around the country now. But like, you're definitely the number one, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I had to fight at Fox to finally get you on. They didn't want to cover the fact that you're catching creeps. You're catching child predators. I don't know why my Fox boss was resistant to that, but in our meetings, we got in a shouting match and she was defending child predators. It was really strange. But anyway, so this latest alleged predator, someone who goes by the name of Sophia, I'm going to show some video of you confronting this person. Here it is.
Look, I mean, you talked about going to a 1-year-old's house and molesting her. That's important to talk about. Okay, and I know currently on your phone right now, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of images of child. What?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. You don't understand. Leave me alone.
Okay, I'm not trying to harass you, okay, or do any of that.
You're harassing me.
I'm letting you talk. May I talk to, please?
No.
Okay. Look, this is about. I mean, little kids are being harmed here.
Here you start reading some of what this person's saying.
Oh, like an age?
No, a phone number.
Oh, no. But I mean, it's her profile. Okay. And, you know, then I said, I'll bring my little sister. How old is she? 5. And he says, well, you know, I love young girls. I'm just excited about thinking how fun it could be to play in bed with both of you.
So
this is what the predader is saying in this chat.
But she's talking to multiple real kids online, has child on her phone right now. Okay. And we say she's only 1, whatever she's that doesn't too young to start learning. And you know, she has how old is your mom? And I said, do you actually want me to bring the 1-year-old? I can go because we're walking alone. I said, if we won't actually get to play tomorrow, but if you're able to, then sure, why not? At least can meet you all. But then
okay, explain this conversation you're reading, Alex. Take me through this conversation. Who was she chatting with?
So I believe she started chatting with us in April, and I say started with us because we never messaged first. And we were posing as a 9-year-old decoy. It was me and one of our decoys named Nikki that were posing. So we both were writing the messages back and forth. And yeah, so we always say, hey, we're from like the same area as you. We always let them say where they're from. We say we're from the same area. So it puts in their mind like, oh, there could be a kid near me. Let's see what I can do. And the messages got very sexual, relatively quick, quick enough to come here a month and a half later and try to confront this person. And what we noticed about this one is she also, or he, whatever the heck it is, messaged one of our other decoys too. And this,
they're transgender, right? Sophia is transgender.
yes, yes, and messaged another one of our decoys and it took him to an app called Telegram, which is if a predator has that or alleged predator has that app, you there it's pretty they're into like the illegal image type of stuff. And she took that decoy on Telegram and was pretty relatively cordial in there, just sexual messages. I can't saying that because we've dealt with so much more than that. But to the decoy, the 9-year-old that I was posing as, we said we had a 6-year-old sister and a 1-year-old sister, and then she expressed interest and wanted to molest both of them. And then I believe the day of that we were supposed to confront Sophia then sent child porn to the decoy that was posing as the other 9-year-old. And that right there should have been an instant arrest, because that it doesn't matter, like, because there's some laws written in the country, like for example in Ohio it's hard for us to get an arrest because you have to be either a real kid or a cop talking to these predators to get them locked up. But in Texas, for example, as long as they believe it's a kid, then they're good to get locked up. So that's why we have arrests in a lot of states and some we don't. But when it comes to something like child porn, that transcends any type of citizen or cop or FBI agent or anything. That right there is just illegal. And
Right.
the fact that this was sent, especially freaking unsolicited, to one of my decoys, that right there should have been an instant arrest, along with the messages. Because in California, the law is written to where as long as they believe it's a kid, it doesn't have to be a cop or a kid, as long as they believe it is.
Wow. So you're filming, you're sitting there talking to police. You are filming the police talking with the alleged predator the whole time. I want to show my viewers the point at which the police let this person go. Here it is. There they go.
Mind you, there's kids over there walking to at the park.
Mind you, there's kids over there. But they're just walking away. What was going through your head?
Well, I mean, if any jurisdiction would have let them go like that, I would have chose probably Berkeley to be the ones to do it. But even then, still, like, I was aware that we were confronting this person in Berkeley, and I was, we've caught people messaging who they thought were 1-year-olds, like going after who they thought were 1-year-olds, and we've caught people that transmitted child porn to our decoys, but never have we confronted somebody that's done freaking both at that point. Sadly, there was another one like a month later from her, but he got arrested, luckily. And I just thought, I get it's Berkeley, I get it's this and that, but even this should be an arrest there, Soros DA or not. And gosh, I was just freaking shocked. I was shocked that the cops corrected me on how I addressed this person, by which pronouns or whatever. And I thought that was like the least relevant thing for the cop to be worried about, but apparently not. And then just the fact that I get not arresting on the spot. That happens quite a few times where they either take the person's phone or something like that, but they didn't even seize any of this person's devices. They just let her go with her phone. And
so you were holding papers in your hand. Was that printouts of the evidence?
Yes, that was printouts of like the message of like the word messages. I didn't print out like any of the images that were sent, obviously. But yeah, the word messages.
Did police want to look at that evidence?
The word messages or the what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy sent me like a link to go upload it, but we were like taking off and leaving the next day, and the connection was poor. So I did follow up, or I was expecting a phone call, never got a phone call. So I ended up following up myself last month. And, because we do so many of these, so I always make sure I take a day to like go report the people I need to follow up on or something like that. So on July 27th, I called them and, I said, hey, I'm calling about this incident that happened at Strawberry Creek Park. I either said June 9th or 10th. I might have had the date wrong, but they're like, no, there's none of that. It's like, okay, is there any police report with my name on it? As my name's Alex Rosen, ALEXROSEN. Is there any police report with my name on it? And the lady's just like, no, there's not. Then she's like, give me 1 second. You're going to go on hold. I get put on hold, and then the phone just hangs up on me. And that really set me off.
Wow. Okay, so I called Berkeley police about it today and recorded the call. So here's how that went, and I'll get your reaction. All right, we are going to call Berkeley police and find out why they did not arrest the alleged predator, why they just let that person walk away. Here goes. Hi, my name's Ivory Hecker. I'm an independent journalist working on a story about one of the cases you guys had this summer. Are you the public information officer I can talk to about that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So there is video that's getting a lot of views on YouTube of Berkeley police confronting someone named Sophia Westfall in regards to preying on children, sexual predator. And then police are shown letting that person walk away. And since the people presented the evidence to police, I'm just wondering why police let that person walk away, and wondering if perhaps you guys did follow up and did indeed arrest the person.
So we actually put out a release, put something on Twitter and then also our other social media channels talking about that very issue, because we've got a number of questions about it. So that particular day, which was back in June, the officers did go out and spoke to the reporting party as well as the person who they were alleging committed this crime. We conducted an investigation. We needed additional information from the reporting party, but we haven't heard back. It's a bit of a challenge when somebody that's not law enforcement goes and tries to conduct their own investigation, because we end up having to essentially reinvestigate all of it.
Okay, but I mean, you guys wouldn't know about it at all had they not, right?
What we'd like is for people to get in contact with us earlier in the investigation. So at this point, it requires, because this is, I guess we're talking about stuff on phones and on apps, that it requires a person to provide us with their phones and access to their applications and take statements, follow up in court.
So, so the person who
I just can't point at a person and say, "Oh, they're bad. You should arrest them."
So this group, Predator Poachers, you're saying that they never respond to any, they have not responded to you guys at all?
Correct.
Okay. So just, I'm going to put this out on my news, and just for my viewers, if they encounter something like this, where they're seeing evidence of someone preying on children sexually, at what point should they get police involved?
Immediately. And then also be prepared to follow up that investigation, meaning you're going to have to go to court and testify about all the different things that you saw or found out. You can't just, it's insufficient to just make an allegation and think that's sufficient for an arrest. It isn't. You need to go on record.
So you're saying this person, Sophia, you guys are not further investigating them at all at this point?
I'm saying we need more information in order to do so. We've certainly documented it, and we've done what we could do, but the investigation essentially is suspended or concluded until we have some hard evidence, something that we can corroborate or verify.
Wow. So what's your reaction to that?
Me and my friends were just looking at each other, just dumbfounded. They talk about, we need phones for the investigation. Whose phone did they not take up? when we're alleging that this person's a child predator and the messages match and the face is there and this person is at the park she says she's going to be at to go meet these kids and walk back to their house and go have sex and touch this 1-year-old? Whose phone do they not take? What do they mean they need phones? And by the way, we give cops access to our accounts all the time. I have like 4 phones across the country right now. I have a MacBook in Virginia because the FBI is investigating this firefighter that we caught and got arrested. We turn in anything that police need. And I never got anything from them. I never got a call from them. The only thing I got was a link to upload stuff to, which the link expired in 24 hours. So I followed up myself tried to get some information so I could, in fact, turn the rest of it in because it did not sit right with me that this person was just walking free. And on my Twitter, I posted proof of me calling them on July 27th, and I just got hung up on in my face after I was put on hold after they said that there was no record of my name on a police report. So that's just ridiculous, and they can absolutely arrest on the spot because sure, you can't just convict somebody on the spot, but pressing charges or detaining, you can absolutely if there's probable cause. And I'd argue that when there's a freaking messages with that person's face, with that person's name, and this person's at the park, the messages said that they were going to be at, I'd argue that is probable cause to at the very least detain or seize the phone, if not make an arrest. And they didn't do any of that. And you talk about let us do our investigation. Well, we have this person not only soliciting a minor online, not only sending nudes of themselves online, sending horrific images online, and of course horrific messages. They came to meet. All elements of the crime are fulfilled according to California law, which is they need to believe that it's a minor. And there's no probable cause to even detain or take the phone. Yeah, give me a break. That's just the biggest BS I've ever heard.
But you had the evidence on the scene that day. I mean, you had some printouts.
Yeah.
You had stuff on your phone, and police didn't want to look at it then?
Yeah, I was showing that guy not only the printouts, but the messages on my phone saying, look, this is me in the account. This is her talking to me in the decoy here in the account. They could have easily verified that this was real, and I'm sure they believed it was real too. But I don't understand.
This person's talking about what? Having sex with a 9-year-old?
Sex with a 9-year-old, sex with a 6-year-old, molesting a 1-year-old. And, if they wanted my phone, they could have easily just had it. I mean, I have proof of consent forms that I've signed to police departments. I'd never not give up my phone when they ask for it. I mean, I don't want to give up my phone, but I have before. I should have given up my freaking MacBook laptop to these cops in Virginia. My number one thing is to get them arrested, and gosh, at least make some effort, Berkeley PD.
Yeah. So they put out a statement today. Actually, I guess the independent media is picking this story up, so they're responding. I don't think any of the mainstream media is picking it up, but. Berkeley PD posted today on Twitter, in part saying that they take these crimes very seriously. We encourage the public to come forward with information about the crimes. They list the case number. So there you go. But other police departments across the country, I think, have been more aggressive because you are responsible for a lot of arrests of these creeps, these pedophiles. How many?
33 states. I've lost count of the arrests, and I lost count of the convictions as well. There's people with convictions in, I believe, over 10 states now where they're locked up and they're sentenced, and a lot of court dates coming. For example, in 2 days, I was supposed to go to Virginia for the firefighter, but that got pushed back a little bit. And we have a lot of court dates coming up. I've had to testify in front of a grand jury so far, preliminary hearings, all of that stuff. And every time, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse. Every time they take plea deals because the evidence is so freaking overwhelming. They're all right, I'll take my 5 to 10, sometimes even 20. We have 2 predators that are serving 20 years or more. One of them 24 years, Ryan Humphrey of Oklahoma City, and then another Thomas Murrell of Upshur County, Texas. He's serving a 20-year sentence, and that's on a plea deal. So we do follow up with the cops. I make sure that I follow up with them, but on the other hand, we do so many of these and there's so many sick ones. So after this follow up with Berkeley, I'm on to the next one. And that's me still following up with them. It's me still reporting it to cops, showing them the evidence on my phone that freaking day. And at that point, I'm just on to the next. But, again, I will follow up I will report to cops for a third time and attempt to turn in evidence. So.
Well, let me know if you finally get a hold of them. Here's your YouTube with all of those various confrontations with creeps. I see your latest one is about an arrest. So,
yes, that's shout out to my friend in Pennsylvania, Jack. We share this channel. He does his own thing too. But if you want to see the Sophia video, just go back a few. And tomorrow we're going to be dropping a corrections officer that we caught in Waco, Texas, who did get arrested.
Wow. Well, I admire that work that you guys do. And you get picked on by the establishment for some reason. Like my corporate media newsroom did not like you because you're not going about it the way that they think you should or whatever. I don't understand. But bottom line is perverts are getting embarrassed, and beyond embarrassed, they're going to jail. Yep. And you guys are sending the message that if you are a pervert who's attempting to meet up with someone who is a child for a sexual activity, you don't know if it's going to be Alex Rosen that shows up. So beware. You probably just shouldn't do it, period.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad they have that fear. Like at first, when we first started doing this, we got a lot of, oh, you could be a cop, you could be this. But now with all these groups popping up across the country, and a lot of us are doing at least a mediocre job getting these people arrested, and a lot of us doing a good job. Now a lot of these pedos are saying you could be a cop or a pedo hunter, and so they're definitely put on notice by us for sure. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop them, but
all these cases the police wouldn't even know about if it wasn't for you guys, and I just want to bring Sophia up one more time. I guess Sophia's not the person's real name, right?
No.
So this, I'm just wondering, you can see you're saying this is a transgender. I'm wondering, is it because this person is transgender that police did not want to touch them? Transgenders are untouchable. They're a protected group, right? Because they're a minority.
Yeah, like I was thinking, if Sophia was confronting me with cameras for committing a hate crime or something, I would be in cuffs by Berkeley PD without a doubt if the roles were reversed. But I do think there's a stigma, especially in a place like Berkeley, where any type of reprimandation for people of her status, I do believe they're handled with more careful hands, and that's why I was very hesitant to post this video up. This is like the last video I posted from that trip up, because I was just made sure it was heavily like the curse words were out and all that stuff. Like I was just very careful to make sure that there was no harassment or bullying going on.
Yeah, because YouTube deletes everything these days.
Yeah, especially with that. Like I was just very worried about posting it.
And look, here's the thing. Yeah, I know. I think that's why you call your YouTube Puggy Pug, right? Because you kept having to change the name.
Oh, I just love animals, and it's a channel about animals. We just catch animals on this channel. Look, it's literally just a dog that we're trying to catch.
And here's the thing, like with, I rarely talk about the transgender issue on my channel, but here's my stance is that I do not care how you want to dress. If a boy wants to dress like a girl, that's none of my business. I don't care. It doesn't affect me, and I'm not going to waste energy on it. And by the way, we live in this wonderful free country that allows you to dress however crazy you want. And so everyone who is wasting their energy on the transgender issue, I think they're just wasting a lot of energy. So I have nothing against someone dressing the opposite of how they want to dress. But if cross-dressing is protecting you as a predator, if police don't want to, arrest you because of that, then that's really messed up. Yeah.
And obviously, like, we don't know the reason that this person wasn't arrested, but you can put two and two together with Berkeley and these officers correcting me on the pronouns. I mean, my God, it's like even if they just took the person's phone, well, I'd be like, okay, well, something's gonna happen because on that phone, she's done. But like, yeah, it was just a very, very demoralizing experience about Berkeley PD. Like, it's truly a different world over there. I mean, the people there, I'm sorry, they're just not right in the head. This person was defended how many times by the people at the park, even with kids. And then there was another couple that walked up when I confronted this person for a second time that day, which I was very scared to post on YouTube because I was screaming in her face about sending, CP. And they just defend this person. They're like, what are you like yelling at her for? And it's just, I don't know. It's just an idiocracy.
Wow, that is insane. You're saying, okay, I'm checking the comments. You're saying Ivory should care about this form of grooming. So if an adult decides to dress the opposite gender, that's not grooming. But anyone who goes and sexualizes a child that is grooming. However you're dressing. You may be a woman dressing like a woman or a man dressing like a man, and if you are immersing that child in sexual environment, then you are grooming them. So I do think that conservatives have over hyped this transgender issue. If you want to talk about grooming, let's talk about grooming, but just grouping all transgenders in as groomers is false. If you want to dress however you want to dress, do so. And anyway, this and a lot of transgenders are drag queens dress highly sexualized for sure. They dress in a very sexual way, and if they're in front of kids, that is grooming when they're dressed like that.
Yeah, but it's starting to like kind of get normalized in our society, and I don't think the powers that be really care about, like, they don't care about transgender rights. They don't really care about like crapping on people with a brain. I just think in the end, it's a big form of you can cut this out if YouTube won't allow, but I think it's a big form of population control because the more kids that are exposed to just even normalizing this, even if they're not being taught this stuff, just seeing it in general, just normalizing it, saying this is just how some people live. These kids are just going to grow up to not have kids. And, they talk about population control all the time. It would be way too obvious if they took guns and just lined us up and, went pow, 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 pow to all of us. But, it's a slow population control when there's more and more trans kids, because it takes two people to have a baby and make a kid. And that's what I think this is. I just think with this being in society, America's numbers are going to go down immensely and pave the way for a place like China, who took away their one-child policy, to grow and expand. Because the Chinese, Xi Jinping is literally like he's literally Hitler. Orange Man isn't Hitler, but Orange Chicken Man over there in China is Hitler. And he believes that the Han are the master race. And when we have our population declining here, and yet China is taking out feminine things for boys in schools and all of that stuff, their population is going to grow. In long run, I think it's just a big way to cull the United States population. But that's my 2 cents. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, that's a good point. If you switch up your genitals, you're probably not going to have a baby. I don't know. But, then the people who don't think that way are the ones in America who are going to be having, people who think normally are going to be having babies. But that's a good point. We got a super chat here. Ivory, you're doing great work. Tough, smart, and witty. Don't ever slow down. Thank you so much for the super chat, 200 Watt Studio. And guys, be sure to go support Alex Rosen on his channel. I have linked his YouTube down in my description. He's been doing great work like this for years, catching predators. Oh, Alex, by the way, we got a freaking ad again. The one predator catch that Fox did allow me to cover, that predator's lawyer reached out to me begging me to remove my article because it was defaming him. This was a youth pastor in Sugar Land, Texas, I believe it was.
Oh,
who was trying to meet up with 14-year-old boys for sex in a Walmart bathroom. But he shows up at Walmart, instead of it being a 14-year-old boy, it was you.
Classic.
And so I covered this. The catch was insane. The YouTube video was insane. I'm sure YouTube deleted that, didn't they?
Yeah, so this guy, like, every time I try to repost it, he always finds a way to do a privacy complaint. Like, he types in his name every 5 minutes on YouTube just looking for a video about him. And I believe that catches on a Rumble. If it's not, it will be on a Rumble, now that you reminded me. A Rumble is Predator Poachers, capital P, no space. But yeah, that was back when we were 19 years old, just like going willy-nilly. But now we're like getting their confessions on camera and all that stuff, and, you know, making sure the idiots get arrested.
Yeah, well, you guys were definitely not politically correct at all. And so my bosses were just cringing the whole time. They're like, I don't think we should cover this guy. And I was like, regardless of political correctness, a pervert was just caught, an adult male preying on a 14-year-old boy who's trying to go to church camp and be innocent. And this dude is preying on him. That's a good thing. So, you know, it's a good thing that he was caught. Okay, so just... can we cover it? Can we? But it was alarming how the corporate news bosses didn't want to focus on this. But anyway, keep doing the good work, and glad I could have you on my YouTube.
Yes, great to talk to you again. You're doing a kick-ass job. I'm so proud of you that you stood up to these idiots and like are doing your own thing now. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm a proud subscriber.
Awesome. I'm subscribed to you as well. Okay, we'll talk soon.
We'll do. See ya.